Chad here with 74 Weld. Sitting next to me, I got Eric and the owner Quinn. Today we're going to dive into daily driving. All three of us daily drive on portals. We do a lot of road trips and wheel and drive back. And just want to make it clear, we daily drive these things every damn day.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe we start off by introduce yourself. So not introduce, but my commute is 42 miles each way. And my daily driver is that Ranger Raptor.
My 4Runner on portals and 35s, I daily drive about 27 miles each way.
Cool. I've got the red JK.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good looking Jeep. And my commute is either 47 or 56 miles depending on traffic. If you're in SoCal, North County, you know about the 15. It sucks.
Yeah, I deal with the 5805. It sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, we have high speed and low speed daily driving.
And you've got 30,000 miles on that set right now?
Yeah, 30,000 miles. So the first set of portals that we put on my Jeep was February of 2022. Put 10,000 miles on those in 6 months. Then we did a revision change.
Threw them all away.
Threw those away. So for about 2 and a little under a half years, I've had one set of portals. Just hit 30,000 miles. We completely tore them down. Looked at every single bearing, every single gear.
Changed absolutely zero on them?
No, the only thing we changed was because they were prototype set, they were unfinished aluminum, just raw aluminum. So we sent the housings out to be anodized, and then we slapped the same gears, the same bearings back in them, and threw them back on the Jeep, and that's what I'm still driving on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I guess our goal on this is we get a lot of questions about the ability to daily drive these. What are the speed limitations of them? Can you do long road trips? Do they get hot? These are all kind of reoccurring questions. So
By a lot of questions. I get phone calls every day asking me, can you daily drive these things? I'm like, yeah, I do every fucking day.
So
Yeah.
our goal is to make this video, and hopefully you watch this video and then go, oh, okay, they answer the question. So our whole point on YouTube, we're gonna do some fluff stuff and we're gonna create cool videos and all that stuff. But one of the primary things that we really strive to do is add good tech. And in doing good tech, you're answering these types of questions preemptively. So then you don't have to call Chad. So he doesn't end up banging his head against the wall, answering the same question over and over.
Or now you can extra call Chad.
Yeah.
Ask him about it.
Fuck it, call me, I'll tell you.
So I just listed a bunch of things. Well,
Yeah.
do we want to talk about those or talk about road trips? Talk about road trips first.
Talk about road trips, yeah.
What was the first long road trip that we did? Moab.
First long one was Moab. So, just
That
a
was
little aside before that one. We finished up the first set of portals on a Friday and drove them to King of the Hammers on a Monday. Did the install over the weekend. So that was a couple hundred miles. Was the maiden voyage. But yeah, Moab was the first
real long trip.
Yeah, so from our shop, it's 795 miles.
And it takes us 13 hours to drive to Moab.
Yeah,
It
so
sucks.
we have my Jeep on portals. We had just finished Quinn's 392 on portals.
Shout out
and
to
that's
392, dude.
That's when these guys went out to Moab without me because I was dealing with some whatever I was dealing with.
Couldn't balance your tires.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's what it was.
Yeah.
We were waiting to go because somebody was going to balance the 40s that were way out of balance and had a wicked vibration at 60 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, I threw on new tires and they were great for 50 miles and then they started vibrating out of control. And so then I was like, oh my God, what do? I need to drive 800 miles. And so I bought balancing beads, had those overnighted on Amazon. And then I found some janky tire shop and paid them $30 to break the bead and pour the beads in. And then that didn't work. So then I called up Martin at Milestar. Shout out Martin. He hooked me up with Brian Johnson and Rock Bottom Off-Road, and they took care of me. So shout out to you guys because you made that trip happen for me. So
So without going into every road trip we've done, we've done stuff all through Southern California, Eastern Sierra Nevada mountains, Arizona.
Flagstaff, Oregon.
Yeah.
And these are a lot of overland events we go to, but at the same time,
Yeah.
we're driving all the vehicles out there. We tow a couple of them just for show purpose, like the new 24 Tacoma. We're trying to not put miles on the thing because
Yeah.
it's brand
Yeah.
new.
Well-
So we towed it up there, but right behind that truck towing, I was driving, Eric's driving. Like
Yeah.
we're driving Portal vehicles all throughout the country.
and
to
sometimes we
shows.
have to tow because like we'll put 2 vehicles on a big trailer and then you drive a vehicle and you drive a vehicle. We're 3 guys and we're trying to bring 4 vehicles.
Yeah.
So like I just did a road trip, and I've talked about this before. A road trip up to see this guy. I went up to GFC. Graham's calling me. I should take the call, huh? I went up
You're
to.
live to tape.
I drove up to or just outside of Bozeman, Montana. Well, drove up to Idaho Falls, spent the night there for like 5 hours.
You drove the Ranger Raptor.
Drove the Ranger
right after we
Raptor.
put portals on it up to Montana.
An old set of portals on it. Still don't have the new ones next week.
Yeah, those portals got a lot of miles on it.
Yeah.
They've been on
So-
several vehicles.
This was a 2,000-mile road trip. I went from San Diego up to Montana, drove out, headed west from like the Billings area, and hit, met up with the guys from Montana Knife Company, and then went through Idaho, Washington, all the way down to Bend, Oregon. Did a bunch of off-roading during that trip, and then because I had an empty spot on a trailer, we threw the Ranger on my big trailer, towed it home, and then I continued to, like, on Monday, I drove the big trailer into work, unloaded it, and then kept daily driving that truck. So even though it went on a road trip, did a bunch of off-roading, like, it's not like we're tearing everything apart and then doing a full prep on this. Like, we're still driving on the same stuff. I didn't really touch anything. Went up to Big Bear. We drove a bunch of vehicles up there. We had Nikki, our office manager, driving the Ranger. I had my buddy Shane pick up and bring up the Bronco.
Yeah.
You took your Jeep. You took your
Forerunner.
Forerunner. Everybody
Frankie
drove,
took the
and
392.
and Frankie drove the 392.
Yeah.
And so all of that is literally everybody's driving up, running on portals, wheeling the trails, driving home.
Yeah.
And we stress this because there's just so many questions around it. And so we're like, yeah, we actually do this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, a big one every year is Trail Hero, because we go from here to
Southern
Hurricane,
Utah.
and
Yeah.
then we wheel for a week and wheel back. That's been a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And that's some serious rock crawling out there.
Yeah,
So,
those are actually legit trails. So
Yeah.
I guess the topics to touch on today is, can you daily drive them? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we daily drive them? Yes.
Yes.
We
Well,
put
for
lot
a
of
long
miles.
time, everybody was like, "You want to go rock crawl? What do? You have your old Toyota, old Jeep, whatever. You throw it on a trailer, drive it to the trail, wheel it, throw it back on the trailer, and that was almost the only way to do it for a long time, And
I was that guy.
And now it's like you have a very capable rig with portals on it and tires, capable enough to go wheel all these trails and comfortable enough to drive to the trails and home.
Well, and admittedly, like, it's a different type of wheeling.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's be honest. Like, I'm not trying to go run the hardest trails possible in a brand new Ranger Raptor because I don't want to thrash the vehicle.
Yeah.
But the message that we're trying to get across is like, dude, go take a long road trip. Like, I can't say it on camera. I can't be like, I'm an overlander.
He's an overlander.
He's an overlander.
I have kids, man. Okay, I'm like making excuses.
Call it what you want.
Yeah. He's
I like-
comfortable.
I like to go camping. I like to go exploring. So
And before, you had a Lance camper in your big Dodge, and like just
Yeah,
for
the
weekend
trailer.
trips, you're taking that big ass thing,
Dude.
and that sucks.
it's a little more comfortable once you get there, and it's a lot more of a pain in the ass, and you just can't take it as far. And so now, like, dude, I literally firmly believe that the absolute, like, my favorite combo is a mid-sized truck with a GFC on it, throw on portals, run a big tire, and you're done. And there's nowhere that I can't go that I can't get there, and I'm not comfortable when I get there. It's about exploring.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there is another, I guess, I'll say this. If you daily drive an off-road vehicle, you're an idiot. And I say that with love because that's what I've been doing for like 15, 20 years now.
Clenching your teeth, death gripping
Yeah.
the wheel, trying to do 80. Like,
Exactly. So, and I mean, I always used to get crap several jobs ago. They'd say, why don't you just buy a beater? It's like, I don't have anywhere to put it. I live in an apartment. I get one parking permit, you know?
Not anymore, dude. You're
Yeah,
in a
not-
house, brother.
Yeah. Well, they're cracking down on parking, so defund the HOA. You know? So, yeah.
Another question we get a lot as far as daily driving stuff, everyone asks about speed. Like, can I go fast? Can I go fast? It's like, yeah, dude, you can go fast. Like, there's no real restrictions when it comes to the Portal on speed. We have trophy trucks going fast as fuck, you know? And at the same time, like, we do these road trips and we drive 80 miles an hour on cruise control the whole
Allegedly.
time.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
If the speed limit is
Yeah.
80, then we go 80.
Yeah, yeah. But another thing is we're all ABS compatible, all your
Yeah.
speed, you know, your cruise control, all that, it's all functional. There's no lights on the dash. Everything works as it should. So, you know, you can go on a long road trip. I use cruise control every day to and from work. I get on the freeway, hit,
I
you know,
use
my
that at-
speedo says 75, I might be going 80, and I hit go, and I just, you know, cruise the whole way.
There
Thumb
is
on
a,
the wheel.
there is a fix
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I'll reprogram it,
Yeah.
but
They make some module that you can like plug in. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I use adaptive cruise control on that thing. It's
Yeah.
freaking bitchy,
Yeah.
dude. I
No.
set my cruise control and it automatically brakes for me so I can climb into the back seat. I'm just kidding.
Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of people worry about speed limits on Portals just based on previous versions of Portals out there with, you know, things like cast iron housings where it's going to retain a lot more heat. You know, there have been designs in the past that have been prone to overheating. That's not an issue with our design. With an aluminum construction, it's a nice heat sink. We have a good oil volume in there. So, I mean, that was one of the first things we did.
That was a legitimate concern for
Yeah.
us when we started this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like legitimate. And then it became kind of one of those, well, I guess that's not an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
tell them about your heat testing mission for
Yeah.
Arizona.
it was, so, you know, February was the first set. June, we put on the second set. July, I went to Cottonwood, Arizona. It's right by Sedona. You know, 110 degrees outside, and did 2 or 3 gas stops, I want to say, and measured the back of the aluminum backer, and the highest heat we saw was like 174 degrees, which is not a lot. I mean, the diff was consistently like 220, 230 on the back of the diff cover. So, you know, 50 degrees less than the diff, that's nice.
Yeah. And oil at 175 is like not even
Yeah.
starting to work. It's
Yeah.
like not breaking a sweat.
Yeah, I mean, you can touch the back of the
Your skin doesn't stick
yeah,
to it.
You know, sometimes you brush up against the diff cover. It's like, oh, did I hit
Yeah.
those exhaust or something? You know,
Yeah.
it gets really hot back there. So, yeah, and these guys drove to Flagstaff and
Yeah.
in the middle of all that heat and everything.
Oh.
So,
So another thing about like older versions of Portals, like they have a lot deeper of a gear reduction. So people think Portal and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you can't go that fast because you have a big deep gear reduction.
Yeah.
We only have a 1.22 gear reduction, which is
Yeah.
22%, basically accommodating for a 22% larger tire.
Well, the old Unimog stuff was like over 2 to 1.
Yeah.
yeah.
2.14,
it's a lot.
2.19. That means that your pinion gear is spinning a lot faster as well.
Yeah. So then, yeah,
On
or
board.
like there have been 1.5 out there, and it's like, all right, you put that on top of a
Yeah, that was
410,
the
and you're in the
Axle
6.
Tech
Yeah,
stuff, right?
Axle Techs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, then your drive shaft's whipping around too, which you start to wear that out because those are only rated for like 3,500, 4,000 RPM, something like
I thought
that.
they were good for like 6.
Well, they're good for 6, but you're starting to decrease the longevity
Oh.
of your life
Alright.
cycle on those.
I
So-
go a lot faster than 3,500 RPM.
For yeah, long
Yeah.
range stuff. You know?
So gear to tire size,
Yeah.
you guys are a little closer to the 22%.
I'm not.
You run
Oh,
a
'cause you have the
37, you run a
37s.
40, I run a 35.
Yeah, no, I mean, I went from a 33 to a 37.
Yeah.
Technically, I should have been 33 to like 40 to 41
Yeah.
is 22%. But it doesn't seem to really matter. And like, again, this comes down to modern vehicles with a 10-speed transmission in that thing. Dude, I'm at like 2,200, no, less than that. I'm like at 2,000 RPM cruising on the freeway.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's
And,
beautiful.
I mean, mine's a little older, the Toyota transmission.
That thing's bitchin'.
It's great. I run 80, but I run it at like 2,300 RPM.
Which
I'm
is
not,
still
I'm not
fine.
wound
Surprised.
out the whole time. Like, people are like, oh, you're sitting there, trying to go up hills and you can't do it. And it's like, I don't know. I'm pretty
That's a
dialed
Toyota
for.
problem.
I know. Like, I drive that thing and like, am never like, oh, this thing's chasing gears. This thing sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna go with the 37. I put 35s on it because I got a free set off of some racers. Bailey Cole just gave me a set of Yokohamas I'm about to throw on the thing.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Bailey.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'm going to stay with the 35 just because I really like where it's at in that speed range. Like, like I said, I do 80 on the freeway all day, every day.
Yeah.
And with that size tire and ratio at 3,500 RPM, I'm still getting like 15 to 16 miles per gallon. Like,
Yeah.
that's another thing people ask about a lot is miles per gallon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another one. Quinn kind of touched on it in the video we just shot. Like, you're putting big tires on a car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it surprises me how much people are concerned with this.
Yeah.
Because
You-
with or
you-
without the portal,
You get somebody that's concerned about fuel mileage and in the same breath telling you that they're going to put a 40 on it. Like,
Yeah.
bro, pick one.
yeah. So it depends on your driving style too. Like I drive a lot of miles. If I keep it in that 65, 70 range in like the green zone on the,
Well-
RPMs, then I'll get 16 MPGs. But today I was coming in at 80 allegedly, and I was getting 14.8. So
Well, and what I'll say on that topic too is like, I had a little experiment. I had, first set of tires I had on my 392 was BFG race tires. I was getting like 10 and a half miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Dude, we put those Milestar XTs on
Yeah.
there. I got fucking 16 miles a gallon
those
on
are
that thing.
smooth tires.
Yeah.
And then I went to a Nitto Trail Grappler and I'm back down to 10 and a half. So if you're concerned about like mileage,
Pick the right tire.
Pick the right tire. Yeah. And, we can say, oh, well, our portal, according to our calculations, our portal is 99.8% efficient on the gear. Like, whatever. Straight cut gears are very efficient. Straight cut gears do not have the parasitic loss that a helical cut gear would have. We won't say too much more than that, other than straight cut gears are very efficient. So if you're concerned about parasitic loss, don't stare at us, dude. It ain't our fault.
Yeah.
Look at that stupid 40-inch tire that you're putting on.
Yeah.
And I say that, but I run a stupid 40-inch tire on my Jeep.
And if we're talking
Yeah,
straight
I love
cut
it.
gears, another question we get a lot is noise. Again, we daily drive these things, and I cannot hear this gear set over my tires. It just
Yeah.
can't.
I mean,
If you turn everything off and listen very closely, you can spot, a trained ear can separate tire noise from gear noise. I won't sit here and say gears make no noise. What I will say is it's not going to bother you. It's not a deal breaker, and it's so faint that it's just a non-issue. And I've said this publicly before. If you think our gears are too loud, send them back, and I'll give you a full refund. I'll even pay to have them uninstalled, and I'll give you 100% of your money back. So
But
no,
you
no
won't.
risk. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's kind of like when I go, yeah, go ahead. I'll replace your steering rack housing free of charge if you break it. You ain't gonna do it. Like, and we make those kind of warranty claims on things because I just know that we're not gonna have an issue on that, and that's a bridge that we're not gonna need to cross. But if we do, I'll do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
2.5 years hasn't happened yet. Most customers call us and go, I can't hear it at all.
Yeah.
I can. I can separate the noise from tire to gear, and the tire is a lot noisier than
Yeah.
the gear.
I mean, I asked my wife if she could hear gear noise, and she said your Jeep has always made noise. So she can't tell.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we can have a conversation now, whereas when I was on 35-inch Mickey Thompsons, we couldn't. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a question we get a lot,
yeah,
and it's not an issue for us. And I think we're at the point now too where enough people online have said the same thing, because while we can say it till we're blue in the face, like
Or red in the face.
whatever, man. I don't expect people to necessarily take our word for it, but go search the forums.
yeah,
Look at the Bronco forums and see what those guys say, who are all customers of ours, who buy our stuff, and read what they say.
Or
Don't
the
take our
dozens of people that have posted in-car videos of driving and
80
That's
miles
true.
an hour, calm, quiet, one finger on the steering wheel, cruising,
Yeah.
going, man, these are great. Yeah. Anything else we missed? Can I get back to work?
maybe comfortability of ride. Because
Oh.
what we're trying to do is maintain all your factory suspension geometry with the portal. You know, so you bolt somebody's lift kit on, you do this, you do that. It's not going to ride like it did before. Like, we're trying to give you a comfortable on and off-road experience. So it's driving on the road is just as comfortable it was before you put a lift and a bigger tire on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're more capable off-road with the portal and more comfortable driving on-road with it.
Yeah. And now you kind of have a more well-rounded vehicle that can kind of do a bit of everything.
yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, we get compared to lift kits all the time. Show me a lift kit that gives you ground clearance.
yeah,
Like, I get it, because the problem is nobody knows what to compare this product to. So then they go, bigger tire. Okay, lift kit. Dude, we're not a lift kit. Like, we're doing the opposite of a lift kit. We're leaving everything else alone. A lift kit's changing everything. The only thing that we have in common with a lift kit is we both get you to a larger tire. That's it. Everything else, we do the exact opposite of. They change your arm and the length of your shock and all that stuff. We keep your arm and keep the length of, like, we're consciously not trying to change that stuff.
yeah.
And when we say driving 80 down the highway with your finger on the wheel, like, that's it. Like, you're not death gripping the thing. It's not fighting you. You're not, holding on for life. It's the thing drives straight. Like, I didn't do an alignment. I didn't do anything when I put portals on my full runner. I bolted the things on, put bigger tires on, and it drives just like it did
Yeah,
before with a little bit
that's
larger
worth
of a tire.
mentioning is you can bolt portals on and not do an alignment. We're not changing your pivot points. We're not changing your steering points. Like, you do not need an alignment unless you're changing tie rods in the process.
Which is why I haven't put my tie rods on yet.
Because we don't have an alignment rack.
Yeah.
Got to take that to Off-Road Warehouse.
That's it. Let us know if you got any questions, if we didn't cover anything. We're really trying to give you guys as much information as possible. So if there's another question you got, let us know. Drop it in the comments. Also, let us know what you guys want us to talk about in other videos. We're all about trying to do tech stuff and giving you more information. Like and subscribe. It helps.
Smash the bell.
Give us a follow.
Smash
Shout
the
us
bell.
out. Thanks.